All right, so Christian views on God's creation. What is a Christian view? That each and everything that exists other than God exists because of God and God's creative activity. Some Christian view some Christians view God as authoritative, a rule giver. Other Christians view God as relational. The average Christian will acknowledge God in conversation without being asked when the topic is victories or decision making. Others acknowledge God by referencing scripture or the awareness of sin in regard to their sense of morals and values, or by implying that their conscience or God, implying that their conscience is God talking to them. What does being made in the image of God mean? Breitbart says, man is God's representative on earth and therefore justifies the charge to be its master and rule it. The image of God also represents reason, intellect, creativity, and free will. God presented Adam with a command which called for a choice between yes or no. We are given free will to make decisions and to choose. The impact of the fall. Our nature is curiosity. We have interest in why and answers. We desire to fulfill the urges of our flesh. When Eve explained her rules, the serpent replied, "You will not certainly die, for God knows that when you eat from the tree, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Genesis 3:4-5. While Adam and Eve were spiritually infants and immature in the flesh, they were already facing choices and temptations of their nature, humanity. They both knew of God's plentiful and good, God's protection, God's offering, and God's command. Yet, as soon as distraction or temptation appeared, they strayed and chose to serve their nature, their flesh, their ways, their priority. Eve wanted to have the know and the wisdom God had for no other reason than because she was a human and had opportunity to choose. The consequence of the disobedience was immediate. They understood what shame was. Adam said to God, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." Genesis 3:10. They lied. Eve said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." Genesis 3:13, taking no accountability. Adam blamed Eve and attempted to manipulate God by saying, "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." Genesis 3:12, taking no accountability. God was so displeased. This was rebellion, disobedience, rejection of goodness. This cursed the bloodline in all humanity. As consequence, women would have pain during childbirth, and men would labor working hard for food and water the entirety of his life. Um, Two worldly practices that impact human value and dignity negatively. I chose technology and instant gratification. So, technology such as cell phones and the internet, this offers streaming TV, and the content that we view on TV is very sexualized in nature. The characters display opinionated attitudes. They teach a type of entitlement, self righteousness. Technologies, as far as cell phones, we have access to apps and social media and other, benefits. This creates a distraction for us. We have text messages that pop up that we need to respond to, notifications. It's constantly occupying our attention span. Doing this versus quality time in personal and spiritual development. Um, when we engage in social media, we engage in comparison to others by doom scrolling. It's a term for just wasting your time getting absorbed in scrolling through social media. So we do this versus consuming healthy content. And we also have access to quick fixes, meaning if you don't like something or you become bored, then you just move on to the next thing. Um, the second worldly practice I chose was instant gratification. We're constantly engaging in things that are temporary or short lived. We have an attachment to the needs and the desires of our flesh. We have access to things that are readily available and accessible at any moment. We can fulfill anything if we lust or if we need to feel elated. If we're materialistic, we want to buy something, um, and we we can actually upgrade our image, or we're attached to appearing a certain way. So our lust can be fulfilled even through apps because um, casual sexual encounters have been normalized, and you can actually meet people using apps. And if we want something, we can purchase it and have it delivered almost instantly. We can get access to any questions we have or any information we need through Google and AI right there on the internet, on our phone, even. Um, we also have instant gratification through pills. Um, so if we want to control our weight, we can actually take pills for that versus diet and exercise. We can take pills for our mood, either controlled substances that we're abusing or it's prescribed, versus getting mental health awareness and treatment such as counseling, therapy, or spirituality, um, regarding image. If we want to change our appearance or we're dissatisfied about something, there's probably a surgery for that. And as a cosmetic surgery, you can get to alter anything about your appearance versus self love, self approval, and embracing the body you're in. And on the lines of image, and with social media, you can actually filter your appearance on your phone, and other people appearance it filter their appearance as well. So the negative impact of these worldly practices is that everything is customizable. And so we kind of look at things like, look at me, this is all about me, the attention is on me, instead of the attention is through me on God for God's glory. We're wanting to be noticed for our flesh instead of our character. So we have a very self-fulfilling way of living, and we can have anything we want anytime we want it. So we have kind of an entitlement to getting our needs met. And there's not really a need to work hard or wait for results, try to build on anything. So we may not recognize a need to expect any deeper meaning or value in anything. Technology and instant gratification have an effect on relationship building. I say that it lacks physical and impersonal interactions, which deprives people of connecting with others. Because now everybody can just chat through text or messenger apps. We lose touch with the person that's behind the message, the soul of the person. Even dating relationships, technology offers um, a fix for that. So if you're just wanting sexual relations, you can use apps for that. If you have an addiction, you can indulge in that addiction, or if you just have a lust you need to fulfill, versus self-control, patience, and discipline, or building towards something with another. We have this ideation of perfectionism displayed on social media, and so people put up pictures and videos, clips, all that of success and happiness and confidence. And we care about the likes and the followers, but it's all just an illusion, and it makes us feel like we have to try to compete with the Joneses, to keep up with them. So it's kind of a degree of perfectionism, and that we're comparing ourselves to. So what good will it be for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? Matthew 16:26. A false sense of relevance and worth, and our attention span is diminished. These are the negative impacts of these worldly practices. The relationships that we do have will have no foundation, because people are basically disposable at any time. We can just block them or unfollow them. So we never really learn how to deal with conflict or differences. We may struggle with low self-esteem and a low sense of self-worth. We're going to be kind of disconnected from reality, and we're not able to determine what's real and what's not, especially with the addition of AI. People will begin to struggle with their mental health and their mental well-being, struggling with mental illness, depression, personality disorders, having suicidal tendencies. They're going to feel a lostness. They're going to lack in direction, and they're going to have poor communication skills. And all that we're really left feeling is an emptiness, an aloneness, some insecurity, some shame, jealousy, and a sense of being a failure by comparison, that we're not good enough. So what we're going to have is a whole bunch of people that are alone together, because we're all alone actually, but we feel like we're with people through social media. When you turn those devices off, you're really actually alone. So we need to make time and make room for the voice of truth, and to expand on a relationship with God. Godly things are love, purposeful, serving others, checking in on others, integrity, character, regard for decision and action, following God, emphasizing selflessness and spiritual growth over worldly gain. We all have a God-sized hole that only God can fill. The humanistic psychological theory, I chose that, and the behavioral psychological theory. Humanistic psychological theory is considered positive psychology, with the basic core that people are good, ethically responsible, and have good intentions of using their own free will to make constructive decisions for themselves and for the good of others. Humanism places human value and dignity front and center. People are considered innately good by nature. This theory is a good practice because it resembles how God brought Adam and Eve into existence, trusting them as his creation. All of his creation is good. From the beginning of time, God trusts people who live freely, making their own decisions. People also have a natural interest in growing and achieving things, and that this is the natural motivator to prosper and do their best. I dare to say that when Eve ate the apple, she merely lost sight of who and what was important and followed what she thought to be something that would make her better. Probably not better than God, but just better. Humanism takes into consideration the individual's motivating factors, basing them off assumption and the person wants to do good, assumption that the person wants to do and be good, optimistically assured that people will make the right decision with their education, experience, logic, and reason to do good. Behavioral psychological theory suggests that the environment is the primary shaper of our behavior. Adam and Eve's behavior demonstrates how not only their human nature, but also factors in the environment persuaded their decision to eat from the tree they were told not to eat from. With everything they could ever need, all they had to do was follow the rule, yet in an instant their flesh compromised it all. This is a good theory to work with because with the interest of understanding why people do what they do, one can also counteract their own destined behavior by being more mindful of who and what they surround themselves by. My views of human value and dignity appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. For me, I have an empathic lens in life. When I see people, I look deeper. I don't just see the surface. I'm very interested in how people are actually doing on the inside, and I like a deeper conversation. I want to see people heal and overcome their pain, their wounds, fears, and traumas. God wants us to do good, to have good, to feel good, to prosper, and to soar. I believe in kindness, to giving, loving, and being a light. All people are worthy of being treated well, considered, looked out for. So theologically, I'm helping God's people and helping build God's kingdom. The end.